Good morning, everyone, and we are back with episode 3. Let's just get into it. This was getting pretty intense when I last cut it off, so might as well just continue, right? Well, there's only one reasonable explanation, Your Honor. The wound was created magically, and someone shoved the sword into the wound afterward. The hell are you talking about? The defendant is a damned mage. She could have easily killed the victim using magic. That may be, Commander, but why would she kill the victim using magic and then stab him with her sword? She would just be incriminating herself. No, if anything, this series of events proves one thing. Someone used magic to kill the victim, and then they pushed my client's sword into the wound to frame her.
Objection!
Ooh. Don't get ahead of yourself. What? Your Honor, the defense is trying to spin the facts in his favor. He claims that a third party committed the crime and used a sword to frame the defendant. But wouldn't the simpler explanation be this? Magic was being channeled through the sword at the time of death. That is what left the magical trace on the body. Commander, please tell the defense how the murder was committed using magic. What? Alright. I think I see where you're going with this. I forgot what voice I gave him. It's been a couple days. It's true that the sword itself isn't magical, but magic can still be channeled through it. That defendant over there, her spell compendium has a spell called Mage Blade. She must have used it on her sword before stabbing the victim. That spell is the reason why there were traces of transmutation magic on the wound. So her spell compendium contains a spell called Mage Blade. A spell compendium is a magical device that lists every spell a mage can cast. Luckily, Celeste's compendium only contains one spell. That means she can only cast that one spell. Celeste, do you have your spell compendium on with you? No, I left it at the tavern after, well, you know. If you can't look at the description for Mage Blade, you'll have to approach this another way. The commander's testimony was a lot vaguer this time. If you can press his statements, you might be able to find new information that you can use against him. Are you saying that my client used a spell and channeled it through her sword? There are a vast number of spells that operate like that. Spells from the School of Transmutation are almost always channeled through an object. Okay. Interesting. Sorry, I had to pause it quickly. Mage Blade? It's a transmutation spell that sharpens my sword. I usually need it when I need to cut through an enemy's plate armor. You didn't realize that she led such a lethal lifestyle. But anyways, wouldn't it be excessive for the defendant to use a spell like that on the victim? He wasn't wearing any kind of armor at the time of death. The victim and the defendant were in an intense argument. Perhaps she used the spell in a fit of rage. It was a crime of passion after all. That theory is a little far-fetched, but you'll need hard evidence if you want to disprove it. Why would she go through the trouble of doing that? Her sword alone would have been enough to commit the murder. Mages are always looking for an excuse for their power around. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Isn't that just your own personal bias, Commander? We don't need to understand why the victim did what she did. The fact of the matter is that magic was present at the crime scene. Do you have any evidence of the contrary? You don't. Yet. If she used a spell like that, wouldn't it have created traces of magic on the ground? How so? Well, let's say we follow the prosecution's theory. That would mean the victim fell to the ground with the sword still inside him. At that point, Mage Blade would still be active, right? It would definitely leave a magical trace on the ground after making physical contact with it. We're already way ahead of you. We had our people scan the crime scene, and we found traces of transmutation magic right under the body, just like you said. Oh. If you still don't believe me, I have a picture of the crime scene right here. Oh, why was this picture not brought to my attention? There was no need. This entire case is open and shut. I see. The sword stabs this way. You've seen pictures of the dead before, but it feels different now that the body is of someone you knew. Looks like there are traces of magic on the ground, but this shape is a little weird, isn't it? What was that just now? There you go. Objection! Oh wait, oops. I meant to present the autopsy report. Objection! I'm sorry, Commander White, but it seems that you've presented another glaring contradiction. Oh yeah? And what's that? You said that my client stabbed the victim from the front. Am I correct? Yeah, you can see it plain in that picture. So where's your contradiction? That's like the Apollo pose, I think. That's the thing, Commander. Your picture clearly shows that the victim was stabbed from the front. But the autopsy report says that he died from a stab from behind. What? Objection! Oren, you were supposed to release everything that you had. Why wasn't this photo given to me? There was no need. There's no way it could have been anyone other than that damn mage. Murmurs ring out across the tower. It didn't matter how corrupt the justice system was. They wouldn't be able to cover up such blatant incompetence. You have them right where you want them. I like that one a lot. Order. Order in the court. Mr. Cuthbert, what is the meaning of this? I'll tell you what the meaning behind this is, Your Honor. As the autopsy report states, the victim died from a stab wound originating from his back. But this photo clearly shows that the sword entered from his front. This can only mean one thing. The sword was inserted into the wound after the fatal wound had already been created. That's crazy. Do you honestly expect us to believe that? Then please enlighten me, Commander White. How else would the sword be facing the opposite way? Do you think my client stabs the victim with the hilt of her sword? Didn't think so. What really happened is clear. The real murderer stuck the sword through the victim's wound to implicate my client. But they made a careless mistake and stuck the sword through the opposite side. Objection! It appears that Oh, wait, sorry, this music. Okay. It appears that I underestimated you, Mr. Cuthbert, but you still got in ahead of yourself. How so? Really, Miss Steelwind? I believe that Miss Cuthbert had adequately cast doubt on your case. Oh, did he now? Then let me ask you one question, Mr. Cuthbert. If your client didn't kill Flintheart McCoy, then who did? How should I know? If I'm not mistaken, it's the commander's job to figure that out. Oh, I'm well aware of the commander's incompetence, but one fact still stands. There's magic detected on the wound and on the sword. Would you like for me to tell you how many mages live in that small town? You don't like where she's going with this. Just one. There's only one registered mage in that entire town.
and that mage is your defendant.
What? Ooh. Yep.
The defendant was also established to have been with the victim hours before his death. She was the last known person with him, and she was the only mage there. In addition to that, I have several witnesses who heard them arguing. How she murdered the victim is simply an unanswered question. I see. That certainly does change matters. I can't say that the prosecution's evidence is irrefutable, but there still is evidence that casts guilt upon the defendant.
Damn it, you almost had them.
There are far too many unanswered questions for me to pass a verdict. We will give law enforcement time to clear these unknowns. I suggest that they conduct their investigation more thoroughly this time. We will resume the trial tomorrow morning. Court is adjourned.
Good, I don't want to do his voice anymore. I'm so bad at it.
Hello, Cuthbert. As you walk out the courtroom with Celeste, you're greeted by Miss Tamora.
Miss Tamora, you're here? You recall how you froze up during the first cross-examination. You feel a little ashamed that your mentor saw all of that.
Well, at the end of the day, you were able to pull it together. And once you did that, you performed adequately. On that note, I wanted to give you this.
Celeste's spell compendium has been added to your notes. Let's go for the duration of the spell, unnaturally sharp, slashing through tough material, yellow radiant glow, 5-foot cube. Interesting. Arcane.
My spell compendium? I swiped in from the dining area before the Inquisition arrived. I thought it'd be best for you to have it.
So, this is your spell compendium, and it only has one spell.
Mageblade.
This means that the prosecution has to prove that Celeste used that specific spell.
It will restrict how they approach this case, which gives you an edge over them. But that prosecutor is really something else.
You mean Prosecutor Steelwind? You can still remember her ripping glare. It gives you chills just thinking about it.
You wouldn't even know it, but this was also her first trial. Really? I thought that her dinner experience would make for a good first opponent. But that girl, she's a natural in the courtroom. Makes me wonder why Steelwind would choose to become an attorney in the first place. What do you mean? The Steelwinds are a powerful noble house. Of the noble families, they are one of the few who answer directly to the king. Most members of their house take high-ranking positions in the kingdom's military. So it's a bit strange that she chose to become a prosecutor despite that.
Steelwind.
I feel like I've heard it somewhere before. In any case, it's best that you focus on the trial. You have about a day until court resumes.
Right. Now that I have time, I'd like to ask you some questions, Celeste. Namely about that argument you had with your father.
Oh.
You see the bailiff staring daggers at Celeste. It looks like they're waiting to take her back to her cell. Whatever questions you have for her will have to wait.
I should probably go.
Celeste walks away while avoiding eye contact with you. Bringing up her argument with Flintheart may have struck a nerve. I'll also use this opportunity to investigate the crime scene. I wouldn't be surprised if the Inquisition missed something.
You utterly embarrassed them today. Don't expect them to make the same mistake twice.
Right. There are still a lot of things we don't know about. As much as I hate to admit, your skills of deduction far surpass mine.
If anyone can fairly figure out what happened that night, it's you.
Oh, oops. How many slots do we have? We have a bunch. We're good. You arrive back at the McCoy Tavern. Luckily for you, the Inquisition set up a teleportation circle for you to use. I had to get some water. Sorry about that. with that circle, you could magically teleport between the capital and the crime scene instantaneously. It's actually pretty funny. They have a in-universe explanation for this. It's definitely miles better than having to travel by carriage. Oh, it's you. What are you doing here? Commander White takes notice as you enter the tavern. It looks like he's working with a team of knights to investigate the crime scene. I'm the defense attorney in this case. I have just as much right to investigate this crime scene as you do. Yeah, whatever. Just remember, I got my eye on you, kid. Oh, nice. This was not in the demo, I think. What do you think about this badge? I don't know what you're expecting me to say. Okay, he doesn't care. Please, oh, I need some funny dialogue. I'll try one more. I never knew Tamora had a kid. Why have I never seen you before? I tend to stay inside a lot. As a child, you couldn't control the Eye of Horus that well. Hearing the myriad of thoughts from a large crowd tended to be overwhelming for you. I've only ever seen her as a ruthless lawyer. It's hard to imagine a woman like that taking care of a kid. Well, she was just as ruthless as a guardian. One more? I heard this was Prosecutor Steelwind's first trial. She must be pretty talented if that's true. Pain in my ass is what she is. That damn noble comes in here telling me how to do my job. Honestly, I have no idea what she's even doing in this line of work. She's a mage from a noble house, isn't she? She must be a pretty powerful mage. Powerful is an understatement. Any one of the Steelwinds could turn this entire town into a glass crater. What? There's no way that's true. Right? That's not last time. Sorry. I have to ask, had something happened between you and Miss Tamora? Miss Tamora. What are you, her lackey or something? No, actually, she's my guardian. Oh, I didn't even know she had a... Look, kid, I don't know what the deal is between you two, but no good will ever come from associating with her. This is about the rumors, isn't it? Throughout the year, there have been several insidious rumors surrounding Miss Tamora. She's been accused of forgery, blackmail, and all manner of illegal activities. It's clearly misinformation spread by the nobility to discredit her. She's always been fine with it, but you can't help but get angry on her behalf. It's more than just rumors, I've seen it for myself. That woman is evil, kid. She offends mages who don't have the protection of the nobility. She's not evil. Oh wait, fuck, that's me. She's not evil, she's a hero. Yeah, whatever. Oh wait, that was necessary? I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about the case. Ha, as if I'd help the likes of you. I saw your bosses and I know what you're up to. That witch probably sent you here to con me. What? I'm just looking for some information. A likely story. He was cooperative before when he let you see Celeste. Why is he being so stubborn now? Is he angry that you embarrassed him in court today? In any case, we won't get anywhere at this rate. If you want his help, you'll need to persuade him through an argument. It's a painting of a man in a suit. There's some text on it. Adam Avile, politician of the pedantic. I've heard of this guy. He's some kind of politician from one of the nations west of here. Heard he's pretty much a shoo-in to win whatever election they have going there. An election? Was one not studying democracies for his little revolution? Oh, are these like the Kickstarter people? It's a painting of a mage, and there's some text on it. Somala Daglian, a legendary practitioner of the arcane arts. He mysteriously disappeared one day. It's rumored reported that he was developing a formula for a new transmutation spell. However, he was reckless in casting the spell and Dogly and quickly lost control of its magic. His body was never found. Many speculate that he didn't actually die during the accident, but if that's true, where did he end up? Sounds like a cautionary tale against using magic. That might explain why Flinnar keeps it in his tavern. Oh, that was... I probably should have read that. There's a chalk outline of the person on the ground of the tavern. This is probably where Flinnar died. The outline matches the picture that the Inquisition took. Nothing seems out of place here. There's a broken bottle on the floor. It's shattered close to the chalk outline of the body. The label has the words Lotus Juice on it. Never heard of that brand before. Must be foreign. Added to the court record. Awesome. So what does the Arcane Inquisition do exactly? Trying to pick a fight with me? No, I'm just genuinely curious. Well, I'm sure you already know, but us Inquisitors investigate crimes that involve magic. This alliteration. Do crimes like this happen often? Nah, maybe once in a blue moon. It makes sense. Most mages are in the nobility after all. Even if they're untouchable, they don't make a habit of getting into trouble with the law. You must have an easy job. You got that right. The only reason we exist is to clean up the nobility's messes. He doesn't seem that happy about that. Commander White, you seem to speak negatively about my client's magic. Do you have a personal grudge against mages? You're damn right I do. Wow, you didn't even try to deny it. And if you had any sense, you would too. All a mage has to do is wave their hands and say some magic nonsense. Then you suddenly have a dead body on the ground. And don't get me started on mage blight. Some noble uses their magic too much, they end up snapping and going on a rampage. I don't know if this is going too far. Why join the Inquisition if you hate mages so much? Considering the fact that my job is to sweep the nobility's crimes under the rug. So, sorry, I didn't mean to insinuate. Nope, you have the right of it. Anytime the nobles involved in the case, I'm ordered to look the other way. You don't seem very happy to do that. Why would you stay in this line of work? Because every once in a while, I'm allowed to put a criminal mage behind bars. Can't go after the nobles, but any other mage is fair game. Or at least they were before your boss showed up. Your boss? Did he have something against Miss Tamora? Oh, I already unlocked it, but I think it reset. Okay, we don't need to do this again. What is it? You already read this? Let's just skip it. Maybe. I have to ask, did something happen between you and Miss Tamora? I already went through this. Let's just... Is this broken? Or am I dumb? Let's move here. Oh, Cuthbert, you're back already. Sorry, I guess I'm just a little lost about where to go next. Well, I suppose I can give you some guidance this time. I wonder who's gonna assist us in the future. No, we'll be fine. We just need to not glitch it. you have a problem with me, Commander White? You should know exactly what my problem is with you. I saw you work for. Do I have to spell it out for you? Or does your boss not tell you what she gets up to? Doesn't matter how about you feel about me or Miss Tamora. What matters is that my client deserves a fair trial with fair representation. All I'm trying to do is give that to her. I've seen that woman do all kind of shady shit in the cases I've worked. Forgery, bribery, blackmail, you name it. You're just another crook. I bet you're just the same. A success for the devil of defense attorneys. Oh, I won. Sorry, I was clicking through it because I was convinced I messed up. You just want some info, right? Yes, that's all I'm asking for. Alright, I'll answer your questions. Just don't make me regret this. This goes without saying, but I don't believe that's the sword is the murder weapon. Right, I guess you have to prove that someone else put the sword there. Did the Inquisition find anything suspicious on the scene? You're asking if we found another bloody weapon lying around. We definitely didn't. That'd be a little too convenient, wouldn't it? Let's say the girl was really being framed. If there was another murder weapon, the killer probably walked out with it. Do you think they could have hidden it somewhere in the tavern? Doubt it. After the trial, Steelman turned the place upside down and scanned it with their magic. Someone did hide a murder weapon here, they hid it well. Or they hid it in plain sight. Okay, super sorry about that. Had to take a quick break, but we are back. I can't believe you made such an obvious mistake during your investigation. Oh, shut up with that. I already got an earful from Steelwind about that mess. Well, you don't have to worry about me mucking things up. Steelwind's basically taken over the entire investigation. Wait, does she have the authority to do that? Normally she wouldn't, but I know better than to go against orders from a noble. Right, there's definitely a strange power dynamic between them. But honestly, that girl sweats the details too much. She even had my men drop a scaled map of the crime scene. Wait, really? Do you have a copy? Sure, knock yourself out. Don't know how much good it'll do you. Ooh. Cool. I heard that this was Prosecutor Steelwind's first trial. She must be pretty talented if that's true. Wait. Yeah, we read this with her profile. Close your eyes and let everything else disappear from this world. Hey, you listening? So, there's no clear evidence pointing to another killer. There is, however, evidence pointing to how Flintheart moved before his death. What? There's no blood trail leading to or from the body. What does this imply about the location of Flintheart's death? Flintheart died where he was attacked. He didn't move from his position at all. Yeah, I guess you're right. There's also the autopsy report which says that he died from a stab from behind. He was probably caught off guard and was too incapacitated to move anywhere else. This means that the attack happened at the exact position he fell over. There's also the shattered bottle of lotus juice. How did the bottle shatter? I doubt it means anything, but the shattered bottle is right next to the body. Oh my god, I look so stupid right now. Wait. I'm too tired for this right now. No. So, let's see this log again. Can we look at our notes? Okay, I got it. He dropped the bottle during the attack. I was so confused by that. I'm sorry about that. From that, we can infer that he was holding it the moment before he was attacked. So what's so strange about one bottle, though? It may seem like an insignificant detail. That detail could help me infer other elements of what happened during the murder. Right. There's also the fact that the artificery lights were out. Were these candles here when you arrived at the crime scene, Orin? No, we had to light some so we could see this crime scene properly. You thought it was weird too. The girl and her father must have had their argument in pitch black darkness. It was... So they didn't light any candles to make up for the broken lights. The crime scene had no lighting during the murder. The argument that Celeste had with her Flintheart must have been spontaneous. They weren't planning to have a conversation in this room. In this darkness, Flintheart wouldn't have had a lot of visibility. If he was stabbed from behind, he probably didn't see it coming. He was clearly surprised and was probably in too much shock to run away. Also, the bottle may seem insignificant, but he was holding it when he was attacked. Maybe he was pouring a drink for himself, or maybe it was for a visitor. Either way, the assailant must have been unseen by Flintheart. Kid. Or the assailant attacked him from his blind spot while his back was turned. Why would his back be turned, though? Was he distracted by something? Kid. What? What was that all about? Sorry, sometimes I just get lost in my own thoughts. Yeah, well, cut it out. You're freaking me out. Right. Anyways, you think you found everything you can from here. You should move somewhere else. Return to the dungeon to speak with Celeste. Stay hydrated, y'all. When you check the cell that she's being kept in, you see that it's empty. The Inquisition must be questioning her. I should come back later. Maybe I need to go up here.
If people keep seeing you here, they're going to start asking questions. Leave the investigation to me. All you have to do is stay quiet until the trial's over.
While heading upstairs, you spot the prosecutor having a conversation with someone. They seem to be in some kind of argument.
Enough, enough. I will do as I see fit. You may be a Steelwind, but this is my land.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're that defense attorney from the trial.
I am. I'm sorry, but who?
Ah, how rude of me. My name is Lord Garrick Pierce.
Emphasis on the Pierce.
The ruling noble of this land. As the ruling noble, I suppose I should thank you for playing your role in the current trial. As misguided as it may be.
I suppose that you also think my client is guilty?
It does not matter what I think. The entire scandal has done nothing but rile up the common folk. Magic is a gift for the nobility and the nobility alone. It is a symbol of the aristocracy and our divine right to rule. And now that bastard child has tainted that symbol in the public eye. All that has nothing to do with her. She's just an innocent woman who got wrapped up in all of this. Even if she is innocent, the charges have been laid and made public. Someone must take the fall lest the public accuse the justice system of corruption.
So you're saying that she should be found guilty even if she's innocent?
Well, what do you suppose will happen if she's acquitted? All the public will see is a mage going free despite a myriad of evidence. That alone would be cause enough to public outrage. Tensions between the aristocracy and the common folk are high enough as is. What is one insignificant girl when compared to this building of our great kingdom? That's enough. Stop antagonizing him, Mr. Pierce. I can't refute what he said, but I don't agree with it.
What?
The system should be based on truth and justice, not on public opinion.
Then why are you working against my client? Do you honestly think she's the kind of person that would kill her father?
It doesn't matter what kind of person she appears to be. The evidence clearly points to her as the only possible killer. But you should fight according to your own ideals, just as I will fight for mine.
I like her. She seems at least like, you know, not evil. The ambient air, despair in the air, fills your mind like a horrendous stench. You do your best to ignore the emotion of the other prisoners, but you haven't had much practice blocking out this many people. As you arrive, you see Celeste huddled down in a corner. As soon as she sees you, her dour mood seems to lift, if only for a moment.
Oh, hi, Mr. Cuthbert.
There's no need to address me so formally, just call me Tyrion.
Okay.
Anyways, I came here to ask you some questions about the case.
Right.
Salazar window. Trees, boulders, ballistas, fortified gates, it cuts through most of these things like butter. I started to wonder what kind of life she led before this case. This is messed up. Nothing about me? Oh, okay, not really cool. Wait, can I present my badge? No. I'm so devastated. I'm sorry for freezing up like that. I almost lost us the trial.
But no, there's no need to apologize. You did great.
It's only thanks to her. If she hadn't calmed you down, who knows what would have happened.
But I still don't understand though. Why were there traces of magic on my dad's body?
Right, those traces of magic were on the sword and the body. Magical traces are particles of magical residue that are left behind when a mage casts a spell. They only linger around for 48 hours, and that gives you a rough timeline of when or where a spell is cast. Did you cast Mage Blade on your sword that day?
I did. I cast it when I trained during the morning.
That explains why there was a trace on the sword at least.
Did the trace of my sword leave the magical trace on my dad's body?
No, magical traces can't be moved around physically. For a spell to leave a trace, it has to be active when physical contact is made.
Really? What does that mean then?
Whatever killed your father had a transmutation spell active on it at the time. That magical trace on your sword was just an unlucky coincidence.
I can't believe this.
Could you tell me more about your father? Sorry, I know this must be difficult after everything that's happened.
No, it's okay. If it helps you, I'll try my best to answer your questions.
Were you too close?
We were. I'm sure you know this by now, but I was adopted by him and my mom. But even though I didn't have their blood, they treated me as if I did. He loved me with all his heart until...
Until what? Does this have something to do with the argument that they had? I'm sorry to say this, but I couldn't hear your argument from my room that night. Could you tell me about what happened?
For as long as I can remember, my dad has hated mages. I'm not sure why, but if you even mentioned magic around him, he'd fly into a rage. So I hid my magic from my family.
Why even learn magic in the first place? If you really wanted to, you could have gone your whole life without using it.
Ever since our tavern's closed, my family's been in a lot of debt. I decided to become a mercenary and use magic to enhance my ability to fight. Most mages are in the nobility, so people will pay a lot for a sellsword who can use magic.
So that's why she's a mercenary.
But I know now, learning magic was the biggest mistake I've ever made. On that night, my dad found my spell compendium. When he confronted me about it, I finally came clean to him. That's when he flew into another one of his rages. He shouted at me, he told me that I betrayed him and his family.
I'm so sorry. I can't imagine how that must have felt.
I deserved every bit of it. I knew how much he hated magic, but I decided to learn it anyway. He showed me so much love and I threw it all away.
Don't say that. I'm sure he still loved you.
No, I could see it in his eyes. He hated me, and he died hating me.
You feel a sharp pain in your chest as you see through that thought. So there's a locked room in the tavern. It's at the very end of the hallway upstairs. The Inquisition probably searched already, but I just wanted to investigate it to make sure.
A locked room at the end of the hallway? I think that's my room.
Do you know how I could get in there? It's the only room in the tavern that I haven't investigated. You feel a suspicious gaze from Celeste.
What's that look for? I'm your lawyer, I'm not gonna do anything weird. Sorry, you're right. Here, you can use this key to get inside.
Nothing represents. Okay. Use the key to enter Celeste's room. Have your start when you notice that someone else is already inside.
I already told you knights everything that I know. What more do you... Oh, aren't you Celeste's attorney?
I am. Who are you?
Oh, how rude of me. I'm Jolie McCoy. I'm Celeste's mother. I was at the trial this morning. I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for my daughter.
So this is Celeste's mother. She might be able to tell you more about Flintheart. About that, do you mind if I ask you some questions for my investigation?
Of course, I'll do anything I can to help.
Painting of a woman with some sort of aquatic animal.
Oh, I love that painting. Celeste brought it back from her travels. Supposedly that woman is named Madeline Kipling. From what I've heard, she runs a wildlife sanctuary for endangered species. I think the animal in this painting is called a fey kip. Celeste told me that she really likes them.
That's interesting. You weren't aware that these kind of creatures even existed. It's really fancy looking bed.
Celeste had it custom made.
Wouldn't something like this be really expensive?
It was. I was really surprised when she returned from her travels. Apparently she was making a lot of gold from her job as a mercenary.
Wow, you and Flinnar must have been happy for her.
We are, but I still wish she'd get a less dangerous job.
It's a table with several chairs. It must be used for entertaining guests. Doesn't look like it's seen much use though. Strolling through the upstairs hallway. I think we investigated everything here. I love this UI. It makes it very easy to see. Can you tell me why your husband hated mages so much? I understand most people dislike the nobility and associate magic with them, but on that night, it's like he was furious at Celeste specifically because she was a mage.
Oh, he must have talked to Celeste. I wasn't there when their argument happened, but I can only imagine what he said to her.
Do you know what happened to him? Why does he hate magic so much?
Celeste doesn't know about this, but years ago, Flinnar had a sister named Effie. When we were all children, we were friends with a boy named Garrick Pierce. He was the son of a ruling noble at the time.
Garrick Pierce? Isn't that the nobleman that was speaking with Stuart earlier?
We were all inseparable at the time. He'd always sneak into town to play with us against his family's wishes.
You probably weren't too happy about that.
He was quite rebellious back then. But everything changed when Garrick began learning to use magic. One day when we were playing together, he wanted to show off the spells that he learned. He was told not to use magic without his instructor there, but he was just too excited. He began casting his spells, but something went horribly wrong. He lost control of his magic and fatally wounded Effie. We tried bringing her back into town, but by that time it was too late. She was already gone.
I'm sorry, that must have been traumatizing for all of you.
The next day, the Arcane Inquisition came to investigate what happened. House Pierce used their connections to cover up what happened. They even threatened Flinar's family into keeping quiet. After that, the official story was that Effie had been mauled by a wolf.
It's not surprising, the nobility seldom take responsibility for their actions, even for a mistake like that.
Something changed in Flinnar after that. Began speaking out against the nobility. Eventually started hosting rallies in this very tavern. Each night, more and more people began listening to his words and joining his causes. Then the people he had gotten under his banner was terrifying. There was even talk of an outright revolution against the kingdom.
That would explain why someone would go out their way to kill him.
I knew how much danger he was putting himself in, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't convince him to stop. His attitude didn't even begin to change until we adopted Celeste.
Can you tell me more about Celeste? How did she become a part of your family?
All happened many years ago, back when the McCoy Tavern was still open. We were closing one night when we found a baby with white hair abandoned in the dining area. We waited weeks for her parents to come by, but no one ever came looking for her.
And that baby was Celeste.
Yes, Flinnar and I had always wanted a child. I thought that Celeste must have been a gift from the Scaled Lord. But one day I saw Celeste practicing her magic. I think that's when I realized that someone from the nobility must have abandoned her at our inn. I didn't care though, I loved her all the same. I'm sure Flinnar did too.
Wait, you knew that she was a mage all this time?
I did. You haven't known her very long, but she is a terrible liar. Flinnar must have noticed too, but I think he didn't want to believe it.
I spoke with Celeste earlier. She thinks that her father hated her because she was a mage.
There's no way he would ever feel that way. He loved her more than anything in the world. No matter what he said to her that night, nothing would ever change that.
After seeing them together, you figured as much.
Celeste was the world to him. When we adopted her, it was the first time in decades that I'd seen him so genuinely happy.
They must have been really close.
More than anything. Do you want to hear his story? Celeste had just returned from her travels. She wouldn't stop talking about this foreign drink that she loved. I think it was called lotus juice or something strange like that. Oh, Flint did everything he could to have it shipped here. He called in a bunch of favors with some of his revolutionary friends, but in the end he was only able to get a single bottle of it.
Is it really that rare?
Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if we're the only bottle of lotus juice in the region.
Wait a minute, lotus juice?
Is this the bottle that Flintheart brought? It is. Oh no, he was gonna surprise her with it. I found the broken pieces next to Flintheart's.
Well, I found them in the dining area.
That's strange. She had been keeping it in her room so she wouldn't find it.
Really? When was the last time you saw it?
Right before I left the house that night. It was right before their big argument.
So it wasn't just laying around in the bar. You had to retrieve it after the argument. And we'll have to see that conversation next time, everyone. Sorry, my voice is getting tired, and that was a long episode, but... Bye, everyone.